Did we see the real Raiders on Monday night? Plus, the top waiver wire targets for week 5 next on Fantasy Football Today in 5. Welcome to Fantasy Football Today in 5. I'm Chris Towers here with Dan Schneier, and we're talking about Monday Night Football and the week 5 top waiver wire targets. For more on the top waiver wire options beyond what we talk about today, make sure you check out the full episode of FFT in your normal feeds. But let's start off with Monday night. And Dan, I got 3 big questions for you for coming out of Monday Night Football, and we'll start with the obvious one. Did the Raiders fool us into thinking they have a great offense with their performance the first 3 weeks? Derek Carr was pushing the ball downfield. He had thrown for 300-plus yards in each game, plus multiple touchdowns. I think it was multiple touchdowns in 6 of 7 games going back to last season as well. Not so much in this one. 196 yards on 34 attempts. He did have 2 touchdowns in this one, but no receiver topped 60 yards. And it took Henry Ruggs getting a 51-yard catch for him to even get there. What do you think of the Raiders' offense moving forward? Oh, we lost Dan. Dan's internet issues. All right, well, while we wait for his internet connection to come back, I'll give my thoughts on the Raiders. I don't think they necessarily fooled us. I think the Raiders' offense is... I mean, look, these types of games happen. Not every team's going to be great every single week. We see that even with the great offenses. There are times when even the really good offenses struggle, and I don't think the Raiders have a really good offense, but they do have one elite receiver in Darren Waller. He's essentially a wide receiver. Luckily, you can use him as tight end in your roster. They've got some pretty good complementary pieces. Henry Ruggs III, who had 3 catches for 60 yards in this one on 6 targets. Hunter Renfrow has been a fine possession type receiver for them. The thing that they need is for Bryan Edwards to get more involved in the offense and to become more of a consistent difference maker. He's got the skills, and we've seen stretches of it this season, but for the most part, he has struggled with consistency. So that's been the issue for the Raiders. That's, kind of holding them back, I think. And in this one, look, they just had an off night, so I think they're fine. Second big question, is Austin Eckler a truly elite fantasy running back moving forward? I thought he was coming into the season, so I don't see any reason to change my opinion on that based on what we've seen. He had a great game, 117 yards on 15 carries. He did score a touchdown as well on the ground. It wasn't quite a goal line carry, and I know there's some concern about what that role will be consistently for Eckler, but it was from 11 yards out, so I think you're okay with that. And he's averaging well over 5 yards per carry right now, 5.7 yards per carry. He's got 283 yards through 4 games. It's about 70 rushing yards, plus 18 catches, 141 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns to date. So I think what we're seeing is Austin Eckler taking the big step forward. The only question for me at this point is, can he keep it going while staying healthy? And we've got Dan back. Dan, want to give a quick thought on Austin Eckler, whether he's a truly elite fantasy running back?
Yes, Eckler is an elite fantasy running back. I think we were all fooled a little bit by week 1 when he didn't get the targets. Now he's getting the targets. He's a key cog in that passing game. It's Joe Lombardi offense. You got to love it. And now I'm back on the internet, so I'm happy about that.
All right. And let's move on to the final question. You don't get to say anything about the Raiders. The final question, your worry level for Mike Williams, who had 1 catch for 11 yards on 4 targets. And Keenan Allen, 7 catches for 36 yards. He did have 11 targets. That's 2 straight games for Allen with 50 or fewer yards, despite a healthy number of targets. This was Mike Williams' first game. What's your worry level on a 1 out of 10 on Mike Williams moving forward?
For me, worry level 0.5, if that's possible.
Okay.
I mean, he had an open touchdown that Justin Herbert missed, and I think this was game plan specific. They couldn't pass protect, so the idea was get the ball to the backs and the tight ends.
That makes sense. And Keenan Allen, same thing. No concern.
Yeah, I'm with you, Chris. I'm on the camp, but don't get worried about drop passes. So I'm not really worried there either.
All right. And this is, I had both of them as top 12 wide receivers this week. Maybe they won't quite be that good moving forward, but I think they're in that discussion. So very happy with what we've seen from the Chargers wide receivers. They'll get a mulligan for this one. Let's move on to the top waiver wire targets. And the top 2 guys, according to Jamie Eisenberg, heading into week 5, are Damian Williams and Samaje Perine. Running back Damian Williams for the Bears, running back Samaje Perine for the Cincinnati Bengals, with Joe Mixon and David Montgomery dealing with injuries. I think Montgomery less likely to play this week. We did see Zach Taylor say Mixon is day to day rather than week to week with his ankle sprain. So who would you target first, Damian Williams or Samaje Perine, if you have the top priority?
I'll be targeting Perine. I think with Williams, you might see a disappointing week. That Bears offense is not fooling me. They're not going to get this Lions matchup again anytime. Well, they'll get it eventually when they play the Lions again, but we can't bank on that soon. I still have so many concerns about that offensive line.
That makes sense. And how much of your fab would you drop on Perine?
This is like a similar to Hubbard situation, I think, but a little bit. I'm going to be dropping even less. And I know I'm too conservative with these, but I'm probably only dropping 15% here. Are you different on that front?
No, I think 15, 20% max makes sense because Mixon's going to be back soon. And we know Perine doesn't have standalone value. So once Mixon's back, he's going to get a ton of the work. And I could see Chris Evans mixing in passing situations as well. And now let's rank these three wide receivers. They're Jamie's top wide receiver targets on waivers this week. Laviska Shenault, Devontae Parker, and Jamison Crowder. How would you rank them?
I'm going to go Shenault 1. I'm going to go Parker 2 and Crowder 3.
Okay, yeah. Parker, Dolphins dealing with Will Fuller having a broken hand. The guy just cannot catch a break. Laviska Shenault, DJ Shark is on IR with that fractured ankle, and Jamison Crowder looked pretty good in his first start. So I think all three of those guys probably will be in my top 40 at wide receiver this week. So I don't mind starting any of them if I need to. For more on the top waiver wire priorities, make sure you check out the full episode of Fantasy Football Today. And that'll do it for FFT and 5. Remember to leave us a 5-star rating, and we'll see you tomorrow.